Good evening, everyone, and we start with another session of Passion Talks, our weekly Saturday 8 p.m. engagement. We have with us very special guest, my personal inspiration once I was preparing for Everest, Satya Rupa Siddhanta, a wonderful guy. I've not known him for long, but then whatever I know of him, very jolly, always smiling, and a cheerful guy, right? So Passion Talks is a forum for all those who are not aware. This is about very normal people achieving greater heights, doing out of their comfort zone, and we couldn't have got a better person than Satya because there's a principle I would request him to speak about, which is infinity, and then infinity into infinity, and infinity raised to power infinity, which he covered in one of his TED talks. And I mean, such a simple manner he could explain the thing. Right. So we'll set the ball rolling. We'll ask Satya only to introduce because the kind of things which he has done is something which I'm not exposed to or I'm not very much clued about. So he'll only be able to explain in a better manner. So we'll request Satya to please take on. Welcome everyone and welcome Satya. We'll start from how it all started and how it all built up to this day. Over to you.
Okay. So may I have a screen sharing rights?
Yeah, sure. Screen sharing, Aaron, please. She'll be permitting that.
Yeah, I'm Satyarup Siddhanta. I have so far climbed the highest mountains and the highest volcanoes of all the 7 continents. And if at the age of 35 years, some months, I became the youngest in the world, then there has to be something wrong with the sport or with the, with something. Otherwise, youngest we hear 3-year-old, 4-year-old, 10-year-old things, right? So definitely that raises some questions that how come at the age of 35 I claim to be in Guinness World Record. They have approved the claim for being the youngest in the world to climb both the 7 summits and the 7 volcanic summits combination. So I broke the record of Daniel Bull from Australia. He had in the age of 36 years, some months kind of things and all. Right. So I also happened to ski the last degree, which is like 89 degrees south to 90 degrees south, skiing to South Pole. And for the last 2 years, I'm struggling to go for the North Pole. Last year, I had to turn back from Longyearbyen. This year, for COVID, we had to cancel the expedition again. So next year, I'll be 3 times more determined and more stronger to go and reach to the top of the world, literally.
I'm sure. Great. Wonderful.
Yeah, so that's about me in terms of the mountaineering achievements. And I have also climbed the Mobla. And then there are some other mountains which are very close to my heart, but these are not the highest, not the strongest, not the things. So I like even the hills of the Western Ghats. It attracts me even much more than any of the Himalayan peaks because just the scenic beauty of it and just the greenery of it. So yeah, I mean and I have a lot of dreams, a lot of future dreams. So yeah.
Just one sec. I'm sure if anybody is not able to hear, please raise your hand or let us know because there's a private message I've got which says that not able to hear. So it's a problem with, okay, now he's able to hear. Fine. So let's go. Okay. Please go ahead.
Yeah, and in terms of my journey, how it started, let me just take you through a small screen. Is my screen?
Yeah, screen sharing is starting. Yeah, it started. Wonderful.
Yeah. Okay. So yeah. So these are the 7 summits from the 7 continents and the 7 volcanic summits as well. And this is the list. I'll share this screenshot in the Telegram so that we can utilize this time where our tricolor has gone actually. So yeah, I mean, I was diagnosed with asthma when I was in class 2, and that day I was very happy. When I was sent back from the school after the lunch break, after the tiffin time, I thought that, wow, I can come home and I can play now. So little did I know that this would become such a big barrier for me. And eventually I became a change and I lost this playground. But, I found some other playgrounds for me. So what if I can't play football? What if I can't run those annual sports meet and all those things? So people used to spot me on the top of some trees or walking on the narrow boundary walls or parapets of the roof. And our typical games used to be like jumping from the first floor to the ground floor in the sand under construction houses. So that way I didn't miss out anything on the childhood fun. Just that I didn't had any
Satya, your voice is cracking, I think.
medals for any of the sport in school. Neither could I participate except the tug of war and all.
Okay.
Yeah, we had fun, so that became problem. Yeah. So from that I went to college, and my inhaler became my it was always with me. Then I had a transformation in Manipal's Engineering College.
Okay.
When I had an attack, and after many years, for the first time, perhaps I forgot my inhaler in my pocket, and I thought I'm dying because I was rolling on the road, trying to gasp for a little bit air, as if a fish has been taken out from the water. But then I didn't die. So what doesn't kill you makes you stronger. It was proved, and all I knew that 10 minutes I didn't die, and it was inhuman 10 minutes. Then I should be able to get rid of this inhaler. Which one do I want? And I didn't want a dependency of that inhaler. And with that, I pushed my limits, started eating all the food that I was allergic to. And 7 years I fought. And in 2008, my team leader, Prem, I was working already in 3 years in Bangalore. Those pictures were not from Himalayas, not from Alps, not from the Andes. It was a picture from a small hill in Tamil Nadu. And somehow all those childhood characters just sprung up. The Tintins and the Phantoms and all those things, and the Francis. These are all like Bengali, some cartoon, some novel characters. They all sprung up. And I felt a very big excitement that, can I also go for that climb? And he told that, and he was like 2-3 times my size. And he told that if I can go, why can't you? And that struck me. And that struck me so hard. And I couldn't even tell him that I was having an asthma background. In the next few days, I couldn't sleep properly. And I was thinking that my heart was asking that, you should go and do that adventure. And my brain was saying that if you go, you will die a dog's death. But then finally, I got an idea. So the idea was that, what? I just equated that mountain to a high riser and thought that, so if I just go for a prestige high riser, 10th floor, if I have an attack, I have to use the inhaler. If I go to 20th floor, then also the medicine is an inhaler. So I thought this mountain to be around 50 floor or 100 floor. So let me just take an inhaler and go to that mountain.
Right.
And then in the next week, we made a team of 10 and finally went to that mountain. And when I reached the top of that hill, it was tough. It was tough for a starter person who never trekked, my first trek ever. And but finally, when I reached to the top, I suddenly realized that I didn't have to use the inhaler, not even a single time. And that was such a liberating feeling. So I found these mountains to be very liberating, and from there my journey started. My first, probably that was the Everest that I climbed for myself. That was even bigger than Everest for me. Yeah, so that's how small wins are always the foundations of bigger dreams. And then dreams just started, and it from the Western Ghats, it started to Everest Base Camp, and then finally I saw Everest. In 2010, without knowing what is mountaineering, I was only doing trekking. So I promised Everest that I'm going to come back, but I didn't know how difficult it was. Mountaineering is a different field altogether. But I had to keep my promise, and eventually, when I got to know, I was like shattered that this is so dangerous, so much costly. But I got so attached to the dream of climbing it, so I never wanted to give up on my dreams. And just wanted to see how far I can push myself, push my limits. And then I realized that I have to get trained, get experienced, get skilled. So I went for Himalayan Mountaineering Institute. The dreams even started bigger and bigger. I got to know about 7 summits. I started dreaming bigger. Then one by one, today I stand with all these mountain climbs. I don't know how, but yeah, I'm glad that I did, and a lot more to do.
So Satya, this 2008 was your first climb as per you. And then when was this
first
expedition?
Trek.
First trek, right. So when did you go for that adventure course? BMC.
So I went to Everest Base Camp in 2010 when I saw Everest in 2010 December.
Okay.
And then 2011 December I went for the HMI course, basic BMC 287 course.
Correct. Okay.
Yeah, 2011. Then 2012 I started doing Kilimanjaro. My 7 summit journey started, and 2019 I finished both the 7 summits and 7 volcanic summits. Yeah.
Right. So the seeds of Everest were sown during your first trek to base camp, is it?
Yes. Before that, I didn't have any idea about Everest, and except the normal thing like Tenzing's picture at the top of Everest in the history books and in the general knowledge book. I think that was the only exposure that I had for Everest.
Right. Satya, can you stop the screen
sharing? So it was not my childhood dream. Yeah.
Yeah. Can you stop the screen sharing, because I think the bandwidth is getting affected. So voice, yeah, this is better now.
Right.
Because the voice was getting muffled in between.
Yeah. So. So it's like that. It was never my childhood dream. So I saw Everest, even didn't know that what mountaineering is. I just loved it, and the dream got sown. The seeds were sown that time, and with that, I started my journey. Yeah.
Right. So that's understood. But then you started with 7 summits and Everest same time. That seed of doing 7 summits, or was it like do the Everest and then finish up?
No. So what happened was 2010 when I saw Everest Base Camp and I saw Everest from there. Right. I started reading about Everest, and I got that it was huge thing. So I think so then what happened was I realized that just with that dream I cannot go and climb Mount Everest, right? And how will I arrange that much money? Because I read in that Into Thin Air book, and I'm so glad that my first book I read on Everest was Into Thin Air, because it never portrayed the rosy picture of Everest. It portrayed the absolute dark side of Everest. So then I realized that I have to get trained and get skilled. So I went in to HMI thinking that after HMI I'll go for Everest. Then when I went to HMI, my vision broadened, and I realized that this is not going to work. I have to train my body even further to see, to get the experience, to see 6,000 meters, 7,000 meters. And then I started researching on Kilimanjaro, because Kilimanjaro we used to read in our childhood novel, and it was always in our mind. And when I realized that it can be climbed, I decided to go to Africa. Africa always, African safari and all those things used to be very interesting thing. So as I was researching about Kilimanjaro, I saw that Kilimanjaro was a part of 7 summits in Wikipedia. And I'm like, what is the 7 summits? And I clicked, and oh my God, climbing the highest mountains of all the 7 continents. And I'm like, all the 7 continents? How, it's the best excuse to roam the world, right? I'm like, I was so into it, and I forgot everything, and I was going each of the peaks, and I was planning, okay, first I'll do this, then I'll do this, next year I'll do this. I planned it out, and then again I came back to reality that I don't have money to climb one mountain only, Mount Everest, and I'm talking about 7 mountains. But that feeling was very good, that to be on the highest mountains of all the 7 continents, and also but then that infinity thing came, which I said in my TEDx also, I thought that climbing Everest was like infinity for me, right? At that moment, I don't know whether that will be possible or not, but just wanted to still pursue that dream. Then I thought, in infinity, you add anything, it is still infinity. You subtract anything, it's still infinity. Right. I thought, let me, if I'm dreaming that big like Everest, you put 7, why not 7? You put 100 also, I don't care. Like, it's just like going to Mars. If I can dream of going to Mars, I can dream of going to Neptune, Pluto as well, right? So how does it matter? So with that, I could allow myself to dream that big. Probably if I would not have allowed myself to dream that big, I wouldn't have gone behind all these mountains. But I'm glad I did. So yeah, that's how.
No, so here I want to tell my viewers also, that Satya's father is a scientist, which means he's not having the truckloads of money which people require if you're going something like this.
My brother is a scientist.
Okay, sorry. Yeah, your father is a doctor. I'm sorry.
Yes. He's retired now.
Yeah. So father was a doctor, so it doesn't. It means that he didn't have that truckloads of money to just spend and visit all 7 summits, 7 continents, and do that. So and then that's how he.
Right now, I have 49 lakh rupees loan on myself. I don't know how I'm going to pay back in this Corona time, but I am still fighting.
Right. So this is the power of dreams. The way he's saying that, generating money for one expedition, and then knowing that, if one expedition amounts to infinite amount of money, it's an infinite reservoir, infinite whatever. So I think that time you should have dreamt of moon also, because in that case you could have gone to moon also. Amazing.
Yeah.
Right. So once Kilimanjaro happened, then happened Everest.
No. So after Kilimanjaro, at the top of Kilimanjaro, so actually in my back of the mind, I knew that what would be my next mountain after Kilimanjaro. So, and I shared that with one of my friends, because I didn't dare to share with so many people because they would laugh at me. I remember I shared with my boss, who was a Korean, and I told I want to climb Everest one day. And he just was sorry. He was not laughing at me. He was sorry that maybe something is wrong with me, or
ignorance maybe.
Yeah. So at the top of Kilimanjaro, I declared that I'm going to climb my next mountain on Elbrus. So when I was about to reach Elbrus, not even summited, I was already inquiring about my local partner there. Have you ever gone to Aconcagua? And yeah, and we're talking about Aconcagua. The most important thing happened on Aconcagua summit. So when I was standing there, I was so scared to declare my next mountain, which would be Denali, because by that time I was I used all my resources, no money. How will I go for Denali? And I realized that time that Denali cost 10 lakh rupees and all. But then I mastered all the courage and declared to myself, like, this declaration is not like nobody's there who I will declare. I declared to myself that I'm going to go for Denali. And I was so frustrated. I came back. I was on chocolate diet to remove the frustration. And then suddenly we decided, you know what, let's go for unguided expedition to Mount Denali. We can do it at 1/10 cost. And we went unsupported and unguided expedition to Mount Denali. Not to show our bravado, but we didn't have money to do so. So we identified all the risks, and we mitigated all the risks, and still we had a lot of events there, which was scary, but eventually that time it became the fastest Indian climb that could have happened to Denali, and I touched Malli's record also that time. Yeah.
Okay, so Satya, Denali has got a peculiar set of challenges. People say I have not been, but then just throw some light on that. What is so peculiar about Denali?
Yeah, it's the weather is very tricky, and the temperatures are close to -30, -35 it goes. In a bad weather, nobody knows how cool it becomes. And and there are no porters, so if you take an agency also, you have to actually pull a load of almost 40 kg in your back, tied to your waist, and then you have a backpack of another 15-20 kg. So like that, you have to go for 3 days. For 3 days you have to go, like that. Then your climb starts, and you have to take your food and dig the food on the way and put it inside and go and all. So it's not a simple mountain. It's very strenuous mountain, I would say. And I felt it was tougher than Mount Everest for me. Maybe my experience was less, or maybe because we did it unguided, unsupported. So we were 5 friends together. We went. So after a hard days of climb, when you finally reach your camp, the water is over. In a typical expedition, what happens is somebody will be there to give you a hot cup of coffee or tea or something like that, right?
Very
So
right.
here, you have to first go and melt some water, melt some snow to make some water. You drink. Then you pitch the tent. Before pitching the tent, you have to make a flat. Then you have to put walls. You have to make blocks of ice so that the tent doesn't go off. Then you again get some water, get some snow to melt, and you take this much snow, it becomes this much water, like, you know.
Yeah.
And then you cook. Then after
Oh.
cooking also, after you have the food, you'll feel like dead tired and you want to sleep. But then who will wash the vessels? Like you have to again
Correct.
start washing those vessels, then you get to sleep. And then next day
Right,
again
right.
you start moving. You know, so yeah, it is but that gave me the confidence that I can climb Everest. You know, so that was that mountain which matured me from an amateur.
Absolutely.
Yeah, so that way.
No, right. Because in the other episode which we had one of our guests who's Jason Krishnan from Australia. So he went to Denali and he suffered a coma situation for 3 days because of exhaustion and the kind of challenges which are there. So that's how he learned from there, and then he picked up going for Manaslu after that. You know, so that's what I wanted to hear. So, and what was after that? After Denali?
After that, I declared at the top of Denali that okay, my next mountain is going to be Everest.
Okay.
But then what happened was I won a contest from Cox and Kings that time, and they sent me for a trek around Mont Blanc, which is a Tour de Mont Blanc route. So where you start from France and you walk, trek, and you cross Italy, then you cross France, then you cross Switzerland, then you come back to France again. So Italy,
right.
So from France to Italy, Italy to Switzerland, and back to France. So that one, when I went, I thought I am going so close to Mont Blanc, I will not climb because I have read so much about it. George Mallory climbed Mont Blanc, and George Mallory is, by the way, my he is my father figure kind of thing. Nice. So I decided to climb that mountain, and I climbed Mont Blanc in September 2014. Okay. And then in 2015, I went for Mount Everest. And, you know, when all the dreams were just unfolding and I arranged the money, like my college gave 1/3 of the expedition, I took further loans and I took crowdfunding. And when the entire thing was just almost happening, the magic was almost about to happen, and I'm just heading towards the base camp. And this big earthquake happened in Nepal in 2014. Right. And more than 12,000 people unofficially, or even more, in fact, died in that one earthquake. And just after that earthquake, there was a big avalanche in the base camp, and more than 21 people died instantly on that thing. And the whole expedition got cancelled. And with that, just like magic, all the money was lost. The expedition got cancelled. No, and that was not my money. And I couldn't accept. I was in a denial mode, like, you know, that, oh my God, what will I do? What will I go and tell? And then I was so insensitive to the whole situation. So when I went to the base camp next day, the dead bodies were still wrapped in plastic and kept there. And there I was looking to find out, is there no way that I can go to Camp 2 in helicopter, then go walk, like, you know, we can open the route and go to the summit. You know, my thing was running around that. But then suddenly I saw one book there, like, you know, it was the title of the book shook me so much. It was written that Dead or Alive, the book name. Right. And for a moment I thought that somebody was whispering in my ears that, are you dead or alive? And I didn't know whether the person who was reading was dead or alive, you know. So that shook me so much. And I realized that to be alive is the greatest gift that we can have.
Absolutely.
And if I have the determination, if I have the hope, then even if not next year, if not 2 years later, 10 years later, at the age of 70 also, I'll come back and climb that mountain. Like if I have my determination right, because I will not be a fopat for lifelong, right?
Right, obviously.
So that made me pick up all my broken dreams, and I started preparing even harder and waited for the right time to come, waited for the right battle to happen. And in 2016, finally, I went and summited Mount Everest.
But then tell me, you know, there was so much of pressure on you, so much of fund you had to generate in 2015. And then like a flash, everything just gets wiped out. You know, there's so much of, again, pressure going back, answering to those people who have invested so much in you. and then you also don't know that next year you could die also, because you've seen death so closely, dead bodies and all. So what was that motivation to gather all that money, motivate yourself, and come back again 2016?
So 2015, what happened was uh, between that earthquake and seeing that book, I was in terrible shape. Like, I couldn't accept, like, I was angry and I was frustrated that why it has to be with me, like,
Yeah.
and then when I realized the value of life that day,
Life.
I think that something shifted, and I don't know, I became so calm, and I came back, and the first thing I did was I sent a mail to my college, the Manipal group, that sir. So I saw that the mail came that, are you alive? I told, yeah, I'm alive, but I'm so sorry that I couldn't take your flag to the top. I will pay back your money in installments. And you know what they said? They said, Satya, that you are alive is more than enough for us. Don't worry about that. We are so happy that you are alive.
Very nice.
And I couldn't believe, like, that there are people like this also, like, is and then next year Nepal suddenly told that in 2016 February sometime that they are waiving off $11,000 the permit fee. So that was a big breather, and I didn't wanted to take money again from the crowdfunding, because I knew the same people will pay again. So they already invested on me, so it was my turn to give the return on investment. So my parents took out money from their retirement savings and gave to me. My brother gave his money, because I was paying back only the EMIs with all my salary. And I had to leave my job in 2015 because my office told either you go to Everest or you keep the job. You cannot do both. And obviously I chose my Everest. But that also opened up another thing that, because I was not with the job, so they offered me a consulting role, and I could take two jobs. So morning 9 to 9 o'clock I used to start from my house. 9:30 to 12:30 I used to work for one company, then travel 1 hour to another company, then 2 to 10:30 in the night I used to work for another company, come back home by 11:45, sleep, and 5 a.m. I used to wake up and do my practice. And then, so, if you really want to do something, you will find the time, and that exactly happened for me. And yeah, I mean, like, I think it's a matter of choice. It's a matter of choice. Nobody put a gun on my head telling that you have to take this loan and you have to suffer the whole, like, at least next 5-6 years is gone from my life, paying back my. So that's a trade-off that you do. That like, fine, it's okay to suffer that way, but I will follow my heart. I will follow my dream, because at the deathbed, I don't want to have a regret in my life that I wish I could have done that, but I didn't do that. I think that is the biggest regret, that not to follow the dreams. So I was ready to do whatever it takes.
No, Satya, what I want to say is that, when you are saying you had no choice, but then for us, or 99.99% of the people, there was never a matter of choice between a job and Everest. It's only that you are considering it a choice. For us, it would have been job, because how many people would think that, leave the job, take the installments, pay the EMI, work in 2 companies and consultancy just because you want to go for Everest?
Yeah, I mean, like, I was, I think not only Everest, it's like, I feel alive when I am connected to the nature. So I find I could connect with myself. You might be knowing, like, so for many hours when we walk and there's no one to talk, all the sound that you can hear is your breath and the chuck of the crampon. And it's a kind of meditation, isn't it? Like, you don't, so many thoughts will come in first, so many thoughts which you will not acknowledge in the normal time, but there you have nothing else to do, and you will acknowledge those thoughts, the deepest, darkest fear and the deepest, darkest inhibitions, everything. So once you acknowledge all these, then suddenly you find that there are no more thoughts, and it becomes a sense, like, kind of Advait, they say, right? Only one thought, and that thought is like, okay, to reach there. And I think that is a kind of meditation. Meditation is also like that, right? We cut off all other thoughts and keep one single thought. So maybe that opens up my mind to even bring in more new dreams, new hopes,
Absolutely.
new ways to live.
But okay, now tell me, once you were there on top of the Everest, was there any other, like every other expedition before Everest, you used to give it a target, after you have reached Denali, this is going to be a next target. What was there once you reached the top of Everest?
So we have some time, right? I can share one.
Yeah, we have.
Yeah.
Sure.
So Everest was very eventful for me. I don't know. Everest chose me to show all the sights of around 6 o'clock, 5:30, 6 o'clock in the evening,
Okay.
and we're going, and then lot many events happened also on the way going, and all those things. But
Right.
at some point of time, I became so overconfident when I reached the balcony. I was the first person to reach balcony that day.
Okay. Okay.
I was then after some time my co-climber Malay Mukherjee, he also came,
Okay.
and we were and I was telling to myself that, oh man, I thought Everest will be much tougher than this. I had to scramble and do things like that and all. It was so easy. And then I told Malaida, Malaida, we should not go so fast, because at this rate, if we go, we'll reach at the summit around 4 o'clock. We'll not get a picture of the summit, and we cannot wait for a long time in the summit. So let us slow down. Yeah. And we told, wo feeding ko thoda jaane dete hain aage, because they will break the steps. And so, and as we were going, climbing the South Col, because we were acclimatized, of course, the acclimatization went so well. So we were joking with each other and going to the top, like, hey, you can't do this one. I say, come, jump, like, and I mean, like, and we took it, and I think Everest heard what we were like, that we were making fun of Everest, like, kuch bhi nahi type ka. So as soon as I reached the South Summit and we were resting, and I chose to sit at the top of the South Summit, like, which is like the top we can see from down, right? The Everest, what we see is the top of South Summit. Suddenly, my left eyeball froze, and I became blind. Left eye suddenly went blind.
Oh.
And that was the full moon night, and it was not a snow blindness, and I was so scared. Suddenly, what happened? And I was like, it just like shut down, not like I can't see half or something like this. It's just shut down. And immediately I put a sunglass. In the night, I'm putting a sunglass, like, it was like. And then after some time, when we started going down, that just as you get down from there, you go one by one in that segment.
Narrow part.
I was waiting for, because by that time some more people came in front of me.
Right.
Suddenly I couldn't breathe anymore from my mask. And I thought, okay, the knob might have got closed. So I asked my Sherpa friend that, can you check the knob? And he checked. I don't know, knob is okay. I don't check the oxygen capacity. Oxygen is gone? Like, because it should not go, because calculation says that I will at least have some more oxygen left even if I reach the summit.
Right.
They said, no, oxygen pressure is showing that the oxygen is there.
Right.
And then by the time some more people came behind, and they're like pushing, go. And I had no choice than to walk. So I removed the mask, and I was breathing the atmospheric oxygen, which was 1/3 oxygen. And I was feeling so good, because it's hypoxic, right? So it feels so good about nice. And I was aware of that, like, that this nice feeling is not good. So you have to walk. Yeah. And I thought on the way I will, unblock. So I realized that there were too much water vapor in that locally put oxygen cylinder. So somehow the pipe, somewhere the water vapor froze and blocked the oxygen supply. So I knew that maybe if I just twist it, somewhere it will be okay, kind of thing.
Right.
Half an hour I had to go ahead, and nothing worked, to that moment where my body started cramping, and I couldn't bring back my finger after changing the carabiners. I couldn't bring back my finger here. And I got so scared now that well, I need some oxygen, because once I get a cramp, it is very difficult to come out of that cramp, right? So I waited for my Sherpa. Now my Sherpa saw that I was going bindas, so he went to the summit beforehand only and waiting for me at the summit.
Oh, hell.
And then, and I clamped myself, and all the people were going, they thought that I am dying, and they were like putting like this cross and may God bless you, and going. And I was like, I can't explain them also. Then, no, I'm not dying. And then suddenly my Sherpa came and told, "Hey, tum idhar khade ho? Chalo, chalo, chalo." And I told him, "No, my mask is not working." So he came and saw everything. It was, "Kam
Right.
kar rahe na, kam kar rahe na." And I'm like, and he just left. Come, come. And it was like another 10 minutes to the summit.
Okay.
And before I explained to anything to him, he just left. Then suddenly I saw my friend and his Sherpa. They're coming. So I explained him that my mask is not working. I need some oxygen right now. Otherwise, I'll get a cramp.
Right.
So I asked my friend Sherpa that, will you give me your mask? And he said, "Sir, मैं अगर मेरा mask दे दूं तो मैं मर जाऊंगा." And then I felt right, like, yeah, why will he give his mask?
Yeah.
And he told that, "Sir, मैं तो लगाने जानता हूँ और खोलना जानता हूँ. I don't know the mechanism of it. I cannot fix also."
Right.
Now, at this point, imagine my co-climber, he told, "Satya, let's, can you hear me, Roman? Roman, can you hear me?
Roman, can you hear me?
Yeah, but there's an echo, I think.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
One, if you can.
Yeah.
Yeah,
No,
go
I
ahead.
kept a backup. Yeah, I kept a backup suddenly. Like,
No, that's good.
So what happened was, that time standing there, nobody parts with their oxygen mask or cylinder, right?
Obviously.
My co-climber, Maulada, he suddenly told, "Satya, just 10 minutes है, नहीं जाएगा, चलना, चलते एक साथ चलते हैं. We have oxygen. Let's share the mask together and go. मैं थोड़ा लेता हूँ, तू थोड़ा ले. Let's go."
Oh my God.
I stood there, like, I couldn't believe what I'm hearing.
Obviously. Yeah.
Yeah. And that day, I think Everest taught me what humanity is. And
Obviously.
that day it taught me what does it mean to be, like, to feel the camaraderie. But then finally he didn't have to give the mask. What happened was my Sherpa again came back.
Okay.
तुम अभी भी इधर बैठे हो? And I told, "Look, you don't believe that my mask is not working? Why don't you try it by yourself?"
Absolutely.
Now he understood the seriousness of it.
Yeah.
Then he said, "अब क्या करे?" So I just told him, "See, I am a guy from the plains, and it is the fact that last 30 minutes I didn't have oxygen and I am still alive. You give your mask for 10 minutes and let me go to the summit. Let me click the picture. Then whatever happens, I will accept my fate.
Right.
Given a chance, I will die. Better I will summit and die rather than not summit and die. Right? Because that was inevitable. Right? You know that at that altitude, what can I do? Right?" And he was little skeptical about. He was thinking, like, and I told him that, "Boss, you will not die. That is for sure, because you are a man from the mountains, right? And I will give you back. If I don't give you back, you are so many friends of yours. You can snatch it from me, right? But you give me." And then he thought for a moment, and he gave me his mask. You won't believe, Romil, when I took that mask and I breathed oxygen, I felt like He-Man, like, the whole body, all the was like, all like suddenly got the energy.
Absolutely.
And
You
I just
become
ran.
Superman.
Yeah, I just ran and I crossed so many people. I, like, overtook. And as I was about to reach to the summit, I suddenly realized that I reached the summit. And I was like, my God, and one step I was taking, I was like, it was like pictures of my parents and my friends and who supported me. Everything was fluttering by, and I was thinking that this is the place where Tenzing Hillary came. This is the place where so many people like Mallory wanted to come, and and so many people couldn't go back home. And I believe, and I was looking at around, like, so nice Lhotse's view and this view and everything, Tibet's view. Suddenly, no, I have to go back. I have to give my mark. So let me take a picture. So I went, took out my camera, and I just took that camera and I took a handycam,
Okay.
And I had a speech in mind, like, thanking my sponsors and all those things. And so I started, like, I am at the top. I suddenly see that the battery went.
Battery doesn't stay.
Battery just, I was like trying to stop it, and it's like, it's gone. Like, over. And like suddenly I felt a kind of, oh my God. Then I started patting myself that I knew this will happen. So I have a spare camera with me. And then I told, like, let me not tell such big stories and all. Let me just button it.
Click.
And I just like did, and like it just opened me, and again like it
Battery
came out
gone.
and it was battery gone. I couldn't believe that I like, and it was full battery when it switched on, right?
Yeah.
This time also I patted my back. I knew this also will happen. So I took out my spare battery from my socks. Like,
Okay.
you know, back there was a sock, and in that I put a battery. And this time, like, you know, now when I took out the battery, I realized that cyber shot camera, and with the 3-layer gloves, it is not even possible to put that battery and open it. Like, you know, it was
Impossible. Yeah.
I'm like, shit, what do I do, man? Like, you know, if I open my gloves, I will lose my fingers, right? I mean,
Right.
that's the
Yeah.
thing. And then I thought, you know, let me practice.
Okay.
At 8848 meter, I am practicing, like keeping the camera, and like, okay, battery, okay, I'll open. Like dry run, like 3-4 times I did a dry run. I was like, okay, I'll just open for 1 second or 2 seconds. I hope my fingers will be okay. I just open. I can put my fingers, and I'm like, okay. I hope it will not. Now, like, okay, forget about every speech. I will just take one picture and get out.
Obviously, yeah.
And I took it out, and it didn't even turn on. I was like, oh my God. And I can see my Sherpa is coming, right? Like the Sherpa of Molada. He's coming behind Molada. And I know if he comes, I have to give back my mask.
Correct.
Now I'm calling Molada, come. I'm with the mask. And Molada is like enjoying the view, and then taking one step, again enjoying the view. And then I ran to him again, like, you know, give me your camera. And suddenly I see that his camera is in his neck.
Right.
And he told me that camera battery is gone.
Battery gone. Yeah.
Told, okay, so bring out the spare camera. He told, no, I thought you got so many cameras, so I didn't get my spare camera.
Right.
And the next minute, we both were sitting like this on the top of Everest. Can you imagine?
Yeah.
And I am telling to him, Molada, you will to leave because you will go. Yeah, I might die 100% while going down. That I submitted, nobody will believe because I don't have a picture. That I will come next year to prove that I came last year. That is also not possible. And I was so frustrated. And at that moment, Molada Sherpa came in front of me.
Right.
And I was like looking down, and I saw his leg. I just took my mask and I just gave it to him. Without looking at him also, I just put it like this. 1 minute went off and he didn't take that mask. And I was like curious I looked at him. And suddenly I just shouted back. He was wearing my mask. And I thought, was I so much delusion that, was it like my AMS was so much that it was a working mask? I couldn't figure it out.
Right.
He's working. And he just pointed out to the sun. So the sun came up and the block went off.
Melt. Yeah.
And it melted. And I was like, I got some more time. And finally, like, you know, my Sherpa, Molada Sherpa, we had some more events, which I will tell some other time. But we actually had another big episode there. And we tricked him to take a video, 360-degree video. And we were also there in that. And then Molada left his camera and told me to stand up, and I stood up, and he took a picture. I was sitting, he took a picture and tossed it to me. I took that in the catch, and I took some pictures, and then he came and took it away, kind of things. And a lot of things happened. But why I wanted to tell you this was when I came back much later, and I was trying to figure out that what made me do what I did there without panic. Because, you know, the main lifeline is gone, right? Oxygen is gone means your main lifeline is gone, and you should be scared like hell, right?
Correct.
How did is it that I am not scared of death? I am also equally scared of death, right? I'm not fearless. But what made me negotiate with the Sherpa in a calm mind without panicking and do all those things and all? And when I was reflecting on it, I was so shocked. The whole life, I was asthmatic in whole of my school life, all my childhood. Right. So it was nothing new that was happening for me. And because nothing new was happening for me, there was no need for panic.
Yeah, you didn't realize.
The same asthma which I cursed my whole life actually saved me on that day. everything shifted, like, and I mean, like, I think it gives me goosebumps also, like, it's like, means whatever we, like, we feel that this is the darkest thing that I can have, and these and that. You never
Correct.
know that it is meant for something much bigger.
Good.
Something it can also come as a help in some point of my life, like,
Correct.
and I think that realization transformed me totally. And yeah, I mean, like, so now, be it COVID, be it anything, or be it like, I'm not anymore scared that I'll go to jail of
Correct.
not paying the EMIs and all those things. And though I don't want to be a defaulter, but what I'm saying is that the panic or something, because I know that all these things that are happening to me is happening only to make me stronger and face the world in a much different angle. So yeah, I appreciate all these struggles, and these struggles made me. Yeah.
Yeah. No. Once you've seen such things right in front of you and experienced it, then small things don't matter much. It's
Yes.
like a holistic view of things you take, and then you
Yeah.
look for positivity in all aspects of life. Amazing
Exactly.
story. Amazing. Okay, that was Everest. Tell us about your volcanic journey. From where did it all came? That you have to climb all volcanoes. I mean, the ones which you've done. Where did it
Right.
start?
So to be honest, after Everest that year itself, I wanted to do the Vinson Massif,
Okay.
Antarctica.
Right.
And just after Everest, when I should be going for my fundraising and everything, what happened was my picture got morphed by the Pune police couple, and
Yeah, right.
I was dragged, like, so they were those like, not to be found, but I had to go prove myself that my picture is right, and these and that, and it was a like horrible thing. So to get my certificate, I had to wait for 2-3 months, and before BBC came in and National Geographic came in and everyone came in, and they put a pressure on Nepal, and it was proved that it was my picture and not theirs.
Right.
So I lost a lot of time there. Then when finally again I wanted to take some loans, the loan is like, a savior. So bank should sponsor me now.
Right.
So just during that time, the demonetization happened, and and bank stopped giving loans, and sponsors stopped giving everything. And finally, one personal financer at some interest less than thing, he told that he is going to fund. Okay, provided I write some collateral and everything and all. And after having that money also, I couldn't go because the flight was full from Chile to Antarctica.
Correct.
And I was so frustrated and I was so angry. Then I decided, standing on that day, I told to myself that I don't want to see this as a failure of my life. I want to see this day as a transformational day. How can I make it?
Right.
Then I thought, okay, if I go to 2017 December and look at this day, what should happen in 2017 December such that I can tell that good that last year it didn't happen. And I told, yes, I always wanted to do South Pole also. So, Antarctica, Vinson Massif and South Pole together. But still it was not it was not like, I was still feeling that I lost 1 year kind of thing, right? Then I thought, what else can I do? And then suddenly I searched in Chile, what are the mountains? And then I came across, there's a volcano. Highest volcano in the world is in Chile. Wow, let me do that also. It was like kind of level, but not that wow factor. Then I put some more volcanoes there around, like, so in Chile. Still, it was like something was still like, burning. Then suddenly I thought, you know what? Malli Mastan Babu, who was the first 7th summiter of India, he died in a mountain in Chile called Tres Cruces. So I thought, nobody went and like, actually he should have been recognized in India, but for some reason, maybe like, people are not aware of him so much.
Right.
So I thought to pay a tribute to him by taking his picture there and India flag there and singing a national anthem. So once I decided that, okay, this year I will do this, I felt like, and then when the budget came out, it was like $100,000. And I was like, and somehow all the, like, I don't know how I managed, but I took extra abnormal amount of loans and these parallel loans and crowdfunding, and still I was short of some money. Around 12 lakhs I was short, and I had exhausted all resources, not a single resource left. Sponsors also done and everything. So I went to that extent to go for an auction of my stuff in
Okay.
Facebook, and these were having more sentimental value than.
Satya, we've lost you again, I think. Can't hear you. Satya. Yeah, Satya is trying to connect.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, now we can hear you, Satya.
Okay. I think there was a call that came actually.
Okay, must have been, yeah.
Yeah. So but my lot of people wanted to buy those, but my friends stopped me from doing those auction, and they went and did more crowdfunding, and that amount was received. So yeah, I have seen the extremes, and I have gone to such extent also where I couldn't go to office because I had only 15 rupees in my ATM, and I didn't have the money to go to my office. And there had been a time where I used to skip food, having one-time food, just to ensure my fund happens. So yeah, I mean, these are the extreme cases.
Yeah, absolutely.
But again, so nobody forced me to go and do those things. But because I did that, suddenly I found myself standing in front of a world records one day, and things just happened. But I never thought I will do a world record. Never thought about that there's a world record in mountaineering like that.
Correct.
But yeah.
Wonderful. No, that's so nice to know that this is the power of dreams. I think you have gone to the maximum extent anybody could think of. If you have gone for auction and those kind of things with so much of loan, and you can keep a smile on a face because your dreams are being realized. I mean, this is something. It will take time to digest whatever you're saying. And
so,
here I would like to,
So
please.
it's like, I cannot fall anymore. Now, if I had to fall anymore, I had to go past the earth and go to the other side. Who knows? I'll be standing on some mountains there then.
Right. Nicely said. Here Malli Mastan, I would like to say, because I met Malli Mastan during a Hyderabad marathon, and then we are from the same institute. He's also, I'm also from IIT Kharagpur, and he was the first Everester, I was the second. So a lot of nostalgic things, and yeah, everybody knows he didn't get the kind of thing he should have got, because he was very, very humble, very down to earth. Nobody even knew about him. Not many people know about him. So nice that you brought him as well. Now we'll just quickly go through the questions, if any, because it's been such a mesmerizing journey. I doubt if anybody is left with any questions right now. Right. So Satya, tell me about this. How different is climbing a volcano compared to a mountain like the Seven Summits? What is the difference between these two? This is by Commander Rasudi. He wants to ask this.
The big difference is that you will enjoy it a lot because there are less crowd.
Okay.
It's not that popular. But volcano is yet another mountain. Just that it is a conical mountain, and typically there is a big crater inside, because once upon a time it must have busted, and then you don't go to the crater, you just go to the rim, because the rim will be the highest point on that mountain and all, right? And by volcano doesn't mean that volcano means it is always busting. And though I saw a volcano bust in front of me when I was climbing, and I thought it was always like this only, but then I thought suddenly it got stopped, and next day morning when I came back, I saw in the newspaper that mountain busted and all that, But most of the 7 volcanic summits are very much doable. And only thing is that these are very rocky, means along with snow, there are many rocks also. And because of some volcanic activities, sometimes these rock falls happen. So you have to be very careful. And because of these rocks, when you put your legs, you have to be very careful. Otherwise, it can break your leg also, because if suddenly goes inside, kind of things and all. But otherwise, it's not different from any of the other 7 summits, like in any other mountains typically. But you get a chance to see some more countries, and like in Antarctica, it was we took a different route altogether, and we were the first to take that route. And walking one step and thinking like Neil Armstrong, that one step, and it was like, wow, like no human being ever took a step there. Like it was a very, very mesmerizing event. But otherwise, there are no other differences, and it's not that very hot. Like Ojos del Salado is 6,800 meters. It is very, very cold mountain, and there are snow and everything. Yes, there are volcanic activities, but that doesn't mean that it will burst or there is a lava always coming out. No.
Yeah, not that.
Right.
Okay.
So
So next,
Damavand was another mountain which was like always having sulfur dioxide coming out. So by 1 o'clock, if you don't summit, you have to turn back because the wind direction will change, then you will get suffocating thing. So it just goes off and all. Yeah.
So it's extremely different kind of a challenge altogether. Huh? Nice. Yeah. Okay. Another question from Baba and Chaitra is, they want to know that do you have plans of other 8,000 meters, or what is the next target as far as mountaining or anything is concerned as regards adventure?
If I could ever climb to K2, I think that would be like a dream come true. I heard that from POK we cannot climb, but there is a route from China side where you have to cross a cold desert and then you have to go, which is very dangerous route. But someday definitely I will consider going from that route. If being an Indian, I cannot go through the POK. But my heart calls for a different kind of adventure. Yes, definitely 8,000 meters and all are every mountaineer's dream. But I don't consider myself a mountaineer. I consider myself more of an adventurer. And so far I have done only one adventure in my life, and that is not Everest, that is not Denali, that is not Antarctica, that is Papua New Guinea, Carstensz Pyramid through the jungle route. And the jungle part was the most adventurous part. So I want to go for this kind of places where it is very adventurous, and where I don't know what is going to happen the next moment. So maybe maybe I can cross some deserts. Maybe I want to go, and it need not to be the highest or like toughest and all those things. Even if it is a small adventure, I resonate with that more. I want to go underwater diving and climb some underwater mountains, or I want to do sailing, maybe from crossing the whole Greenland circumnavigation, which nobody has ever done so far. I mean, like, because I have only one life, I cannot just afford to be just a mountaineer in this one life. I want to explore the other facets of it. I want to be a sailor. I want to do from Bengal to Andamans, or maybe not that. I don't know, like, lot many dreams are there. I want to go to Mount Erebus in Antarctica. It's the highest. You can hear me? Yeah. I want to go to Mount Erebus, which is the highest active volcano of Antarctica. I want to climb the highest active volcanoes of all the 7 continents. I want to climb the second highest mountains of the world. It just goes on, and the list is
amazing. Okay, now I think we are running short of time. One last question. This is a friend Mahesh. Mahesh wants to know, seeing death so close on top of Everest, what does actually life and humanity mean to you? A bit of a philosophical thing, but then, because you've seen it so closely.
So, when people face death, and I have faced it so many times, I think you start valuing life, or I don't know about others. I started valuing my life so much, and I try to make every moment of my life meaningful. And when I was in North Pole last year and waiting for the flights to open up there, suddenly I realized that what does this climb mean for the society? And I couldn't find an answer, and it was so void that it is only a personal aspirations getting met.
Right.
And that was haunting me, actually. And then from that feeling, so today I am in tie-up with IIM Calcutta now, working on a social entrepreneurship project. And I'm trying to do an like rural entrepreneurship hub, and trying to build the microeconomy. So, and with my adventurous learning, or the adventurous spirit, if I can pass that spirit to them in whatever they do, I think that is much more meaningful. And I'm working on some fishery project and some smart farming and some animal husbandry and clean energy and drinking water, the basic necessities for a community building, community things and all. Still in the very nascent stage, but I feel my life is much more meaningful now to me that at least I can contribute to the society and I can help in that format. So yeah, I mean, as much as I love to climb mountains and do for those adventure, I also want to be more meaningful to the society around. So
Wonderful.
yeah. And yes,
That's
of course,
amazing.
I am a little mad, so I do have some other hobbies like collecting a lot of polar adventure materials and mountain literatures ranging from 1800s, signed by authors and all. And so if mountaineering doesn't make me bankrupt, this will. But I have a dream of making an adventure museum in India and bringing all the pieces of history which are very relevant for the mountaineering and polar adventures, polar explorers. So I want to bring those, and I have collected quite a few now, but a long way to go. But with all your support, I'm sure someday, definitely this, and that someday will not be long far distance. It will be faster.
Wonderful, Satya. Amazing. I mean, I'll request everyone to please switch on the cameras. We'll have a group photograph individually and before we call it a day. But then, amazing journey. There's so many things we could grab. You know, people call Everesters mad, but then I think you are like infinite to the power infinite the way you were discussing. Amazing. Thank you so much, Satya.
Thank you so much.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
No, thanks so much. And thanks to all the viewers. I mean, it's been amazing listening to you. I never realized we are done with 60 minutes because there were so many things we had to cover. But then due to shortage of time, maybe sometime later or in the chat rooms of Telegram, we'll keep bothering you. Thank you so much. Viewers, if you like all this thing, all this stuff, please do subscribe to the channel, share it with your friends, comments, like, whatever. Thank you so much. Jai Hind. Good night. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye, Satya.
Bye. Bye.